there are many definitions of yoga. The word yoga is so widely used. Of course, even if you use it in the Western context, everybody knows what it is. Doesn't matter what they understand, but they know the word. It has made it, along with other Hindi and Sanskrit words, into the dictionary, English dictionary. Certain other words are there. Pakka, everybody knows. Karma, they know. Of course, it's pronounced slightly differently. Karma. That's what they say in this country, correct? Yeah. We also say karma when we have car trouble. Then it is karma. Otherwise it is karma. And so many definitions. What is this yoga? Yoga means, are you going to get into some kind of a pretzel position? Call that yoga. Or is yoga has some other meaning? There are so many yogas. There is Kriya Yoga, so many things have become famous. Yoga means a certain sadhana. Sadhana means a practice. When we talk of sadhana, it is a practice that is dedicated for gaining something. Sadhana is always wedded to sadhya, the goal. Sadhana, practice, sadhya, goal. So if somebody says, I am doing sadhana, then the normal question is, for what purpose, correct? You can't say I am doing sadhana just like that. That's not a correct answer, that's not a proper thing. I am doing sadhana. Why? Just like that. To pass time. Nobody does sadhana to pass time. It's always to gain something one does sadhana. You want to gain, a good job, right? And the sadhana to gain a good job, lifelong of study. First you have to get your high school diploma, and then you have to go to college. Even that's not enough these days. Then there is something called post-doc and doc and this and that and everything. So many, after several degrees. After several degrees of what? Frustration. Then finally you are qualified. The sadhana pays itself off. And then you have to spend time resume. And then you get the resume. And then after the resume, you have all these, interviews, job interviews. And finally somebody says, okay, I'm willing to hire you. Then the sadhana, the lifelong sadhana has paid off. The sadhya was to get a job, correct? That is how the sadhana is. And here in this example, the sadhana is not just of the student, but also of the parents. Especially if they are Indian parents, correct? They will study with you, they will study for you. Short of taking the test and the interview, they will do everything. Yes, it's a great blessing. It's a real blessing to be born in an Indian family, really. Everything is taken care of. Don't ask how long, because the parenting never stops. This is very good luck, some ways. Very fortunate. And so that is one example of sadhana, to gain something. And then that is what is called a laukika example. Laukika means a so-called secular example, even though we don't have really the word secular in the Hindu dharma. But laukika really doesn't have a translation. Laukika means day to day. So in that sense, secular. But for us, nothing is secular. And that we don't understand this is part of our problem. This is the problem. And I'm going to speak about that. And so, every sadhana is a spiritual sadhana for us, and that is really what this talk is about. But for now, we will take the working definition, the working separation between what? Between the Laukika and Vaidika. This is an accepted definition in the Shastra. Laukika karma, day-to-day karma. And then what? Vaidika karma. Vaidika karma, religious activities. Like we see upstairs, so many things are going on today, especially for Ganesha Chaturthi. There is all these, so many yajnas, homas, pujas, kalashas, everything. It's just like a huge celebration. So this is all called Vaidika karma. And so when we talk of Vaidika karma, that is also sadhana. This we have to understand. When we talk of religious practices, they are also just that. They are called practices. They are not anything else. They are also sadhana. Then the question is, if it is a spiritual sadhana, then what is the sadhya? What is the meaning of sadhya? I just now told. Goal. Very good. Yeah. People are listening. I'm overjoyed. Sadhya, goal. So if the Laukika sadhanas have a goal in mind, a quote-unquote worldly goal, a material goal, a vyavaharik goal, a transactional goal, then what is the goal of the spiritual sadhana? It's a very interesting thing. Some people will say there is no goal at all. The goal is goal, meaning it's zero. There is no goal. And that's what frequently we hear. And as a result, when the understanding of the spiritual goal, if it is not there, then a very funny thing happens. When you don't understand what is it that one is pursuing, then the sadhana itself becomes sadhya. The means become the end. And the end comes to an end. That's what. If the means are confused for the end is gone. So what happens when the means become the end? It's like wearing a very, big dress or a tuxedo, which is a very formal attire. This person has dressed up in a tuxedo and then, bow tie, everything, cuff links, everything, dressed to the hilt. Then somebody they meet, and this man is asked, "Oh, you have some function?" "No." "Some concert? Going to a concert, opera perhaps?" "No." "Oh, you are having some kind of formal function at home, perhaps you have invited other people." "No." "You are going to see a band?" "No." Then of course the person cannot stand the curiosity any longer. "Why are you dressed up like this?" "No reason." Can you buy that? Huh? It looks funny, does it not? It looks very funny to be all dressed up with no place to go. And therefore a sadhana, whether it is religious or non-religious, doesn't matter for now. Therefore any sadhana without a sadhya is just like that. All dressed up with no place to go. So the sadhana is a practice that subserves the sadhya, the goal. So any yoga, whether it is, all these asanas, or whether you take yoga metaphorically as any kind of spiritual practice, is for the sake of achieving something. What that something is, we have to understand. Achieving something. In this achievement in the Bhagavad Gita is called Siddhi, success. Success in what? So many definitions of success, so many definitions of yoga. And the word yoga itself comes from various root verbs with different meanings. Yuj becomes yoga. Yuj has two meanings, both of them, when you make it into an abstract noun, it becomes yoga. And then yujir, another root verb is there. That also becomes yoga. You know? And what are the meanings of these words? Very interesting. Yujir, samyame, in the sense of a restraint, samyama, not really restraint, discipline, in the sense of a discipline. Yujir, nirodhe, yujir, nirodhe, in the sense of a restraint, having discipline. And the final meaning of the word yoga is sangati, a connection. That is how the word yoga came to be used for yogasanas. There is a certain connection. What is the connection? Various body parts that you never thought could meet, do meet. Yeah. The fingers touch the toes, bending. Despite certain vignas, like Madhya Pradesh. What is Madhya Pradesh? The middle region. Yeah. Madhya Pradesh, big state in India, right in the middle. So despite certain obstacles called Madhya Pradesh, etc., still somehow miraculously the toes are touched. So many things happen. So the impossible is achieved, and that is why that Sangati is there. Yoga, because the connection of various body parts you never even thought could meet, could never imagine. Then yoga is also a certain kind of a restraint, because yoga includes pranayama, the discipline of yoga. And in pranayama there is kumbhaka, rechaka, all these things where you hold the breath, where you count the inhalations, exhalations. Then finally yoga is also a discipline. You can't do one day and then see what happened. Nothing will happen, In fact, next day there will be, a lot of pain. So you have to do it regularly. That's what is a discipline, what is done regularly. So these three meanings apply to yogasanas. And these three meanings, which are given in are also used in the Bhagavad Gita. The word yoga is used in all these senses. Yoga is used as a sense of connection. Sangati, connecting oneself with Bhagavan, connecting oneself to the, yogi yunjita satatam. When it says, it's talking about connection. Also at the end of every chapter, there is a connection there. So we have, Brahma Vidyayam, Yoga Shastre, Sri Krishna Arjuna Samvade. Then whatever the chapter is there. Arjuna Vishada Yogo Nama Prathamodhyayah. This is how we chant. This is why it is so confusing, because it has so many meanings, which led one to think that there are 18 kinds of yoga described in the Bhagavad Gita. Somebody said this. One is the yoga of sorrow. I just told you yoga is a practice. Arjuna Vishada means Arjuna's sorrow. The yoga of sadness. Sadness, thank you very much, comes without any effort. This is one place I don't have to strive. It comes in uninvited. In fact, it comes even when I don't want to be sad. So now you are going to tell me that practice being sad? Why? So that you can be happy later. This is ridiculous. This is where the Sanskrit is not understood. Yoga here is Sangati, the connection. This whole chapter, the name of the chapter is called Arjuna Vishada. Karma Yoga, Karma Sannyasa Yoga, Purushottama Yoga. That's why it says Nama, Arjuna Vishada Nama. That is the name of the chapter. You cannot confuse it. And so this, we have to be very clear. There are not, 18 kinds of spiritual disciplines and practices talked about in the Bhagavad Gita. This 18 has to do with the chapter layout. In fact, when it was written, there were no chapters. Somebody made it into chapters, divided it for ease of understanding, ease of chanting. We are very grateful for that. Then we have, in the Bhagavad Gita itself, all these three definitions come. Sangati we have discussed, in the sense of discipline. The word yoga becomes yukta here. The one who is endowed with yoga becomes yukta. Yukta har viharasya. For the one who is having the spiritual discipline with regard to food, restraint here, with regard to food, with regard to movement, with regard to excessive consumption, in all these various things. For the one who shows restraint, who practices restraints, what happens? Yogo bhavati dukkhaha, dukkham hanti iti dukkhaha. The one that this is the sorrow killing pill. What is the sorrow killing pill? A disciplined and a restrained lifestyle is the pill that kills sorrow. This is what is given in the 6th chapter in the sense of restraint. Then the final meaning of the word yoga is also a disciplined lifestyle. And the most famous example of that is karma yoga, that is the whole lifestyle. So this is the whole gamut of the ways in which the word yoga is used, in the sense of association or connection, in the sense of restraint, in the sense of a certain disciplined entire lifetime, a discipline that we can practice. And here it is very interesting, because also in the 6th chapter, one more definition of yoga is given. Yoga is, Bhagavan says, dissociation. Just now you are saying yoga is association. Now you are saying it is dissociation. Wait. Yoga is dissociation from association with sorrow. Tam vidya dukkha samyoga viyogam yoga samyitam. Know that to be yoga, which is conscious dissociation from association with sorrow. This is the first, meaning. See, all of it is triangulating to show how to be free of sorrow. This is very beautiful. Then the second sense in which it is used is, karma yoga is defined in these three ways. When we talk about karma yoga, more I will talk about it. We'll just see where we are just sort of going within these chapters and seeing wherever the word yoga is used and how it is defined. First we understood the root verb meanings. Now we are seeing how the Gita sees yoga. And the very important definition is conscious dissociation from association, from the habitual association with sorrow. Then we have yoga, karmasu kaushalam, which is, famously translated as skill in action is yoga. What is this skill? We'll come to that. It's more than skill, it is the commitment to do the job very well. Is to be able to do the job nicely. with full commitment, with full dedication. That is what is called dakshaha, skilled. And then the famous verse, Siddha Siddhyo Samo Bhutva Samatvam Yoga Uchyate. This is what is often quoted to define what is called Karma Yoga. Samatvam. Sama means equal. Samatvam, equilibrium, equanimity is yoga. It's Karma Yoga, really. Now, all these definitions are sadhana or sadhya? No? Sadhana. They are sadhana, they are not the sadhya in themselves. If we consider them sadhana, it will be the tuxedo story. Wearing formal attire and staying at home, all dressed up without any place to go. It is sadhana, it is not sadhya. Then the very important question is, what is it in aid of? In the example of the job, you have studies, you have a resume, you have interviews, you have all these things. For the sake of what? To gain a job, it's very clear. And here the person spends all the time trying to stay away from sorrow, trying to, do every job with commitment and dedication, and practicing equanimity for the sake of what? If they cannot become ends in themselves. They are the doorways or the gateways to gaining something. What is that thing? In other areas it's very clear. In the Laukika examples, Laukika means the worldly examples, it's very, very clear. What is the gain is very clear. I want a job. I want to make lots of money. I want status. I want Aishwarya, power. I want security. I want to get married. Why, don't ask, but this is just there. It's a goal. I want to have children. And I want to, then we have goals connected to the children. All the things I wanted for myself get transferred to the children. I want them to become famous. But why? Because I am famous but only inside the house. So at least everyone knows me inside the house. I want them to become famous outside the house. I want them to become more educated than me. I want them to have greater sense of self-respect. I want them to... So all these goals keep continuing. The thing is set further and further, that's all. So in the Laukika examples, the goals are very clear. But you ask any spiritual person, for what reason do you meditate? Why you are doing all these yogas? Kriya yoga, this yoga, that yoga, so many things are there. There are breathing exercises, there is yogasanas. There is a total, it's very amorphous. It's totally amorphous why they are doing that. And it is very important to know, because otherwise you are practicing something without a goal. And like I said, when the means become an end, the end comes to an end, the end is no longer an end. At the most, if they are a little more self-aware, you ask them why all these spiritual disciplines, they'll say, to have peace of mind. Why you want peace of mind? And why through this way only you want peace of mind? Why not, some other way? No, I just want peace of mind. For the sake of what? Then if you really press them, then they will say for the sake of happiness. You say happiness. And what is this happiness? What is the definition of happiness? Is it a noun? If happiness is a noun, we should be able to find it in every mall, especially in capitalist societies. But when you go to the mall, something else happens. Rarely is anyone happy. Yeah. That's why I have changed the spelling of mall to M-A-U-L. You go there to get mauled. Yeah. You come back wiser but poorer because you spent all the money there. Things you didn't need because you have got mauled by all these things. So therefore, happiness is not something you can purchase. You cannot purchase it. It's not an object. It's not a noun. Oh, it's not a noun? Maybe it's an adjective. Alright. Then we should, happiness should be something that qualifies some other noun, correct? That's what an adjective does. And you try to qualify any noun, there are always some doubts. You know? Happy marriage. Well, the last few years have been a little tough. We've had to go through some hard times. You know? Happy workplace. Well, there have been cutbacks and layoffs, and I'm wondering if I'm the next one, and that tension alone makes it difficult for me even to wake up in the morning. Happy teenagers. That's an oxymoron. The two cannot coexist. Yeah. Teenagers are those that are always complaining about something not being correct. Generally. Or if they are happy for a few minutes. So you cannot qualify. So happiness is not something, it's an adjective that qualifies other things that I have in my life. And neither does happiness can be found in a certain place. If I go there, I'm happy. Frequently one thinks, when I go there, I'm really happy. It may have been like that one or two times, you had a nice time. But is it because of the place? Even if you go to the best place, either in this life or the afterlife, you go to heaven with the same complaining mind that one had here. You go to heaven, you will not be happy. You know, here you are happy just once in a while, and there the expectations are higher, and you won't be happy. You go there, you will find that it's overrated. Heaven is overrated. उधर सब कुछ ऐसा ही है, as it is here, यथा यद यथा, you know, यद यथा इह कर्मचितो लोक क्षीयते तत् तथा अमुत्र. You know, same thing. Kshiyate, the one in common between afterlife and this life is both come to an end. Afterlife also comes to an end. Afterlife cannot be eternal, even though that is one's misunderstanding. Why? Because what takes you to afterlife is karma chita. It's collected by good karma, doing dharma, all these things. Yadyatha iha karma chito loka kshiyate. Iha means here, just like all the karmas, you know, whatever you do is finite here. Nothing is infinite, and that infinite alone we call happiness. Everything in fact is finite. Tat tatha amutra. Amutra means elsewhere, out of this time frame and this particular time zone. Heaven also there is a time zone, you know. One day in the life of Brahmaji is equal to 1,000 yugas here. Yeah. So by the time he wakes up, stretches and says, Saraswati, bring the coffee. And then what happens? Few yugas have collapsed here, finished. This is how it is. So there's a different time zone. But still, you know, that life in heaven also comes to an end. tat tatha amutra punyachito lokaha kshiyate. Kshiyate means comes to an end. Even heaven is finite. Here they say everything, you go to some shops and the word divine is used. Divine restaurant, divine this, divine experience. And there you go expecting something really divine. And because of your punya, you get the first cup of tea there. Somebody serves you. One of the lower rung celestials serves you. What do they serve? Celestial seasonings there. That's all it is. So heaven is not a particular happy place. Heaven is not a place, it's not a particular place where you will be happy. Like I said, if the same complaining mind is taken to heaven, you will find complaints with Indra also. You will say to Indra, same dress you are wearing every day. I came to see you. Change. This is what it is. I want something new. Same concerts. Heaven is nothing but concerts. One day Urvashi dances. One other day Rambha sings. All these are heavenly nymphs. And they keep singing, dancing, song, dance. Bore ho jata hai. You get bored. And don't think even if you enjoy the dances, you can, marry one of these yakshas and nymphs, apsaras, and get green card there. Yeah. Because they are also on permanently temporary visas. They will also come back. That is, they don't have ideas. Because heaven is impermanent, heaven is not a place that is happy for everyone, unless one has a particular mindset for it. So that crosses out happiness and place together. And what about time? Is there a particular time of the day you are happy? Brahma Muhurtam. What is Brahma Muhurtam? When most of the people are not awake. So why are we discussing it? Maybe that's why people are happy. The few that happen to be awake are happy during that time because they don't have to deal with others, perhaps. That's also not a happy time. If your mind is not okay, that is also not a happy time. And then what? Happy hour? Now you are finally coming to the point. There is 1 hour every day, perhaps in the weekend, called happy hour. Only unhappy people go there really. With the hope that they will become happy. But when they go there, neither are they happy, nor the other people outside waiting for them happy. So what is this happy hour? It's the most unhappy hour. It's the most unhappy circumstances. So this thing called happiness is neither, bound to a particular place, nor bound to a particular time. And I need not even discuss that it is not bound to a particular person. Because the same person that made you overjoyed yesterday, today you feel like throwing something at them. Correct? Why? Because they are not fulfilling my needs. So all this discussion about happiness and all these activities to produce this happiness tell us a few things. Happiness is neither a noun nor an adjective, nor a thing to be bought and sold for transaction, nor is it confined to a particular place or a particular time. And the question is, if it's not an object, what is it? Perhaps it is nothing but the subject. If it's not an object, it has to be the subject. Then no, I disagree. Sometimes people like to disagree. They consider it a certain mental stimulation, like doing Sudoku. Yeah. I disagree. Happiness cannot be the subject. It's outside of the subject. Okay. Namaha. That's all you have to say in certain situations. And in certain more drastic situations, you have to say Namo Namaha twice. You say Namaha. If it is not you, then why are you searching for it? It is not the object and it's not the subject. If the subject is not subject to happiness, then you should not be looking for it all over the place. You should be happy being sad. You should be happy saying, I'm so sad this week. You should congratulate one another. 3 sad things happened this week only. Wonderful. And if something happy happens, it should be an anomaly, correct? You should send a condolence message. You are such a dharmic person. Why this happy thing happened to you? It's not like that. In fact, everybody, from a small child, as soon as it's able to talk, to even the collective, the capitalism, the pharmaceutical companies know that sadness is an anomaly. That's why they have more and more, drugs on the counter that you can buy to keep sadness at bay. Antidepressant, anti-anxiety, anti-this, anti-that. Then you have all these allopathic things requiring prescription. Then you have things which do not require a prescription. Then there is some kava. Yeah, sounds like kava, but it's kava. Something like that. All these herbs you can take and keep sadness at bay. That which is to be kept at bay is not you. Everybody senses that. But how to understand this? How to really keep it at bay? Because I don't want to keep it at bay. At best for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. I want to keep it at bay when? Always. I don't want this sadness to come as even a visitor. I don't want it to drop in. How to keep it at bay? That is why the pursuit of happiness is really nothing but the pursuit of the self. Like a dog chasing its own tail. Round and round it goes, it doesn't know. Sometimes it gets the crazies. It just barks and goes round and round. And we laugh at the dog. We say, oh, look at this foolish fellow. What are we doing? Same thing. Yeah. That is why every puja that you do upstairs, at the end, Yani kani cha papani, what do? You go around yourself. This is what it symbolizes. It symbolizes that you are the source of your own pursuit. But you cannot get anywhere outside. There is nothing there. Go around yourself whenever you cannot go around the Lord. This is the Hindu tradition. It is magnificent. No other tradition will do this. If there is some obstruction, if there are many people, you cannot go around the Lord. Sometimes there is, too many things happening. You are advised, you go around yourself, no problem. You are that Lord. You have that overlordship over happiness. You are the Lord of happiness. You are that alone. This is what the whole thing is. And it is seen in the lifestyle again and again. Go around yourself. This is fantastic. But with wisdom, not like the dog. With wisdom you go around yourself. Putting an end to all other pursuits, because I am the one who is the seeker, I am the one who is sought. Fantastic. It symbolizes the end of all other pursuits, because every pursuit is for the sake of gaining that happiness which is already myself. This is already myself. It is I alone. But how to know this? That is why the study of the Gita becomes important. In the Gita Dhyana Shloka, not in the Dhyana Shlokas we commonly recite, but there is a shloka which is the praise of the Gita, Gita Stuti. There the second verse is Gita Sugita Kartavya Kim Manyaihi Shastra Vistaraihi. Gita has to be studied very well. Of what use is any other Upanishad, any other Shastra? If you have Gita, you have everything. It's true, this is not an exaggeration. You can only exaggerate things. Exaggeration means what? A hyperbole. Something that you add to what it really is. A subjective explanation which exaggerates the qualities. This is what is exaggeration, which adds on to things that are not there. But what does the Gita teach? About you. What can it add on to you? Who is infinite? Nothing. Infinite plus 1, infinity plus 1 is what? Infinity alone. If you take away a few things from infinity, that is what it is alone. That is what you are. That is what is something to be discovered. And it takes lifetimes after lifetimes of, pursuit. This is the pursuit. The pursuit is going around yourself. Just like baby Ganesha. So we have to remember him since it's his birthday. Chaturthi is coming. When Ganesha was small, he was a foodie, fond of eating, rather plump, unable to move quickly, and also hampered by the, vehicle. What was the vehicle? Mushika. Yes, little mouse. And his brother was lithe, svelte. Kartikeya went to the gym every day. Yeah. And he had a Porsche. Yeah. What was that? Mayura. It just fled. Everywhere it went. This Ganesha with his little jalopy, even balancing on that thing would take up 1 hour before you are off. Shiva and Parvati sitting there. One celestial mango. Very difficult to divide the mango. I have seen children, when I give them a chocolate, like a big slab, I have seen a brother and sister bring out a ruler, a scale, and mark it in the middle and then cut it and share it. But you can't do that with a mango. You can perhaps share it 3 ways, but it's very difficult to share 2 ways and equally. And the mother said, whoever goes around the world 3 times will get this. And Kartikeya did not even hear the end of the sentence. He was off. Went over hills and valleys, we say around the world in 80 days. He came back in 8 minutes. By this time, our sacred little fatty, what did he do? He went around his own parents. Jagatah Pitarau Vande, Parvati Parameshwarau. I bow to the parents of the universe. You are the world to me. And of course he got the mango. And of course we have to finish the story now that we started it. Because everybody is interested, what happened to that person? What happened to Subramanya? What happened to Kartikeya? Kartikeya was very miffed. He just was so upset, he was annoyed beyond belief. He said, this is unfair. I did all the work, and this fellow got the prize. And does he need to eat? Look at him. I am leaving all of you. And he went, and he found himself a small little hillock in South India, in a place called Parani. And even now you can go see him there. Yeah. A young Kartikeya standing there. So, this is what the story is. So, all these stories, Puranic stories, Vedic stories, Upanishadic stories, talk about coming back to oneself, really. Whatever you are searching cannot be outside of you. This is the vision of the Veda. This is what has to be assimilated. And the assimilation is a twofold process. One is called Shravanam. Shravanam means listening to someone who is qualified, someone who has been taught by their teacher, who has learned from his teacher, from her teacher, his teacher, her teacher, his teacher, her teacher, going back all the way to Narayana, going back all the way to Sadashiva. You can trace the lineage. So you expose yourself to the knowledge. When? Kabhi kabhi. Lifetime mein ek baar. No. You have to expose yourself bar bar. Lagatar, bar bar. That's when you will stop considering the bar as a place of happiness. Yeah. To expose yourself repeatedly. That repeated exposure is the way. But why repeated exposure? Ek baar sun liya, enough. Tattvamasi, you are the whole. Is it enough? Say no, come on. Yeah. Yeah. It's not enough. Why is it not enough? This is the question. This is the question I have. Because there are blocks, there are certain sources of resistance. There is first of all incredulity. How can I be Bhagavan? How can I be that Mata Pita of the universe? How can I be that? I myself need many Matas and many Pitas. In fact, I am waiting to be adopted. You know? In India, adoption laws are very loose. You can be adopted at any age. But this is why I said that Indian parents means it's a great blessing. I know one lady, she herself is 40 plus, and then she got adopted by rich elderly people. Very nice. So here everyone is looking for some mother figure, father figure, someone who I can look up to, someone who will love me, someone who will take care of me, someone who will say, are you there? Are you okay? Have you eaten? Have you slept? Somebody to take care of me, I myself need, preferably 4 or 5, because if one gets busy, one is unavailable, another is sick, I need some backups. And here this Shastra has the audacity to tell me I am the mother and the father of the universe, I am the cause, I am not because. I am all, I am not small. I used to think I was odd, but I am told I am God. This is the vision. And it doesn't go in very easily. Goes in with difficulty. Why? Because there is this incredulous. Why is it incredulous? Because it is contrary to the experiential reality of feeling like I am a forever wanting person. Who is a forever wanting person? New definition. The person who wants the forever. You have to change it. You shouldn't define yourself as I am an always wanting person. You should say I am the one who wants that which is always. Change it. I am not an infinite seeker. I am the seeker of the infinite. This is what we have to tell ourselves. And so those resistances, those blocks, those fears, those sources of incredulity, how long have they been in place? Many, 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 many hours? No. Years? No. Lifetimes. Not even centuries, lifetimes. Lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. Dunding, dunding, dunding. What is dunding? It's a new English word. You know? Searching, searching, searching. Seeking, seeking, seeking. Not finding, not finding, not finding. You know, yours truly. Soham. This is the meaning of Soham. Local meaning of Soham. This is who I am. Soham asmi. Shochami Bhagavaha. This is how Narada went to Sanat Kumara, his own teacher. I am still subject to sorrow. You know, this is not local Tata saying I am subject to sorrow. This is Narada. Narada, who is an extraterrestrial traveler. He is a diplomat, pun intended. Yeah. He goes place to place. He is famous. He has all this knowledge. And Sanat Kumara asks, what do you know? Because he wants to see whether he should start Vedanta 101, 201, 301. He wants to find out. And Narada says, I know Rig Veda, I know Yajur Veda, I know Sama Veda, I know Atharva Veda, I know Prosody, I know Kalpa. Kalpa means how to do yajnas. I know that. I know all these things. Sanat Kumara laughs. Right in his face, even though this fellow has come looking sad. Sanat Kumara says, my dear sir, you know a lot of nothing. What? All these years of learning? Nothing? Yes, nothing. You know a whole lot of nothing. And if it was any other jiva, local jiva, we would have said at least I have a lot of nothing. Even Sanat Kumara has said, I know a lot of nothing. What is a lot of nothing? Nothing. Doesn't make any difference if you know a little bit or a lot, it's still nothing. And so, therefore, this example itself shows that no matter all the sadhanas in the life, if they are not dedicated to finding out the truth of oneself as the only source of happiness, they amount to nothing. If they are a practice dedicated to gaining the truth, then it becomes yoga, karma yoga. This is what the whole secret is. This is the rahasya which Arjuna is taught in the Bhagavad Gita. Rajavidya, Rajaguhyam, which is translated in, some of the translations are very funny. How is it translated? Kingly knowledge, kingly secret. Royal knowledge, royal secret. Regal knowledge. ठीक है, वो भी ठीक है. Regal knowledge means what? Where you feel like a king after knowing which. This is what one wants. One wants to feel like the overlord of everything. And so, because of these fears, resistances, pre-loaded assumptions, I am small, I am no good, this is not a valuable pursuit, how can I pursue this knowledge when there are so many people suffering? All these ideas that are there shows that there is not, that our understanding has to improve about what is the nature of this knowledge. And how pursuing this is not going to take away from anything that you want to do. In fact, it's going to make you do it better, with more dedication, with more commitment, with more joy. This is what one has to understand. And so therefore the knowledge is a package deal along with what is called the lifestyle. A committed lifestyle to gain this knowledge. This is what is called karma yoga. Then it becomes a sadhana. If we understand this, it becomes a sadhana. We had a retreat last weekend. I was telling this one. I was giving this example. After this talk, now I am headed to the airport. Correct? Yeah. So, supposing one is headed to the airport, you can go many places on the way. Let's say you have a lot of time. You can go to someone's house. Say, I want to visit you. Let's have a cup of tea. You can go, you can say, I want to drop off the laundry. You can say, I want to pick up something to eat, because in the plane, what do they give? Nothing. Yeah, maybe peanuts. Yeah. So I'll pick up something to eat. You can say, on the way, I will just drop off the car. It's a rental car. You're doing many things, but where are you headed? Airport. That's where you are headed. You don't, when you go to the friend's house for the cup of tea, you don't move in there, since it's convenient because you already have your luggage. No. You're still headed to the airport. No matter what you do, you don't let go of that destination. So too in Karma Yoga. You pursue the knowledge. The knowledge is really the means, which is at the end, because the subject of the knowledge and the object of the knowledge is that happiness alone, knowing which one is free. But there are too many other things to do. Duties are there, obligations are there, desires are there, and therefore I keep doing what I am doing while pursuing this knowledge. And I elevate my activities to the level of sadhana, regardless of whether they are laukika or vaidika. How to elevate them to the level of sadhana? First, the sadhya should be clear. And then, since the main block to receiving this understanding and assimilating this understanding is called raga-dvesha, a block of raga and a block of dvesha. What is raga-dvesha? Strong preferences which make me think that I cannot live without these things. That I cannot live without these things, the understanding is the problem. cannot live without this or that. But this is, this is a problem. Why is this a problem? It's a problem because it's really not true. Seen from the vision that the Gita has of oneself, when the Gita looks at you, she says you are that which is self-standing, self-effulgent, reality which does not need any abridging, which is free, which need not have any props at all. This is the Gita's understanding. This is what you find when you look into the Bhagavad Gita mirror. You see yourself in a new light. But sometimes you don't see anything at all. Why? Because the mirror has become fogged. My own anxiety is making me breathe too heavily on it, and it's all dusty and fogged. This is Bhagavad Gita's example. In the 3rd chapter it says that. Bhagavad Gita's example. The Adarsha, the mirror, is dusty. And so the whole karma yoga of gaining certain attitudes and values in my life, even as I go about my daily duties, is the antidote, is the Windex for this cleaning this mirror. Yeah. This is the Windex. And what is the Windex? Samatvam yoga uchyate, that is the Windex. Why is it the Windex? Because this equanimity is the vaccination for raga and dvesha. In this country especially, this country is called Bhoga Bhumi. And here we are trying to practice yoga. Yoga within Bhoga. That should be the title of this talk. Yeah. How to practice yoga inside Bhoga. Yoga and Bhoga are really two ends of the spectrum. They have nothing to do with one another. But you can yogify. This is a term that the youngsters who are from the Hindu network, what are they called? Chai people. They have a program called Yogify. Yogify your life. Yeah. But they only mean asanas. We can borrow from them. Yeah, Sneha ji can tell them that. They'll be very happy. She's going to see them next week. You can yogify your life. We all know how to bhogify our lives, but now we have to learn to yogify. This is what it is. How to yogify? These raga dveshas, their tenor, their force and their intensity has to be reduced. Here we are used to instant gratification. What I want is what I want. When I want is right now, I can't wait for even a second. 2 seconds if something is late. And nowadays we have all these hell phones, Where are you? That is the greeting in the cell phone. Tum kahan ho? You never say hello even. I find that very interesting. You don't say Jai Shri Krishna, you don't say Namaste, you don't say Hari Om, you don't say how are you, where are you? This is our new Namaste. This is the land of instant gratification. No patience. How do you spell that? No patience at all. Quickly we want everything. And then if you don't get it, there is anxiety, there is fear, there is terror, there is alienation. This disconnect is from God, from what we call Bhagavan. Bhagavan is, the whole order in the form of this entire universe. Your own karma is Bhagavan. Dharma is Bhagavan. Everything that you encounter is Bhagavan. And even though Bhagavan is everywhere, I don't know how to relate to this Bhagavan. It's relating to this Bhagavan as a sadhana. To know this Bhagavan as myself is the definition of Karma Yoga. Learning to invite Bhagavan into every area of my activity is what is called yogifying my life. Yeah. The bhogi doesn't think about the consequences of the action. The bhogi doesn't think about who this bhoga should be offered to, who this bhoga, the source of this bhoga is coming from. No. But the karma yogi knows that everything comes from Bhagavan. Tera tujhko arpan. This is what we say in that long song which never ends. Which is that one? Jai Jagadish Hare. Each time you think somebody is ending it, one more paragraph, one more stanza people remember and chant. Then you say, okay, now it's ending, now I'll do. Then one more comes. What a song is. I love it. It's beautiful. So like that, Tera tujhko arpan. Whatever is yours, I give it to you. And what is yours? Tan tera hai, man tera hai. Dhan, of course, mera nahi hai, tera hai. This fellow says that. One day, Vishnu is very pleased. He says, such a devotee. Hey, dekho, he's giving everything. Lakshmi says, kal ke liye wait karo. Yeah. Lakshmi ji is a practical lady. Yeah. And the next day, again this fellow says, Vishnu gets angry. Yesterday he offered everything. What is there left to offer today? Lakshmi ji says, you don't look for logic in their actions. Because all these jivas are there. You remember? We decided not to get cable TV. Because we can look at them. Enough. We are entertained. We are Bhagavan's source of entertainment. This is all it is. Each jiva is a reality show. That's all it is. Keep changing. They can look at everybody and have a good time. Because thankfully they don't take anything seriously. And that is how we have to be. We have to get to the place where all these raga dveshas which give serious agenda and serious problems are no longer taken seriously. We have to become bigger than our problems. That is karma yoga. That is how to gain this samatvam. Usually we say when one small problem strikes, what to do now? So many problems. Office mein problems, ghar mein problems. Inside the heart problems. Everywhere problems, home problems, everywhere I go problems. And this is how one gets overwhelmed. And this overwhelm becomes another mounting, issue where the knowledge is not assimilated. That one has to pursue knowledge, that one is already what one seeks, only separated by ignorance itself takes a few lifetimes to understand. But if somehow one has understood that, to find the time to pursue this knowledge itself is another big, huge, thing. But when you know what Narada knew, that whatever I pursue has no meaning if this is not pursued with this, if this knowledge is not there. All the pursuits become like wearing tuxedo and sitting at home, not going anywhere. And so therefore I have to choose Bhagavan, like even, Arjuna did. Duryodhana chose the Yadava army which Krishna had. Arjuna went to Lord Krishna and said, all I want is you. I don't want anything else. That's how Krishna became the Sarathi. In the Bhagavad Gita, the charioteer. Every arrow that passes has to pass through Lord Krishna and then, it will not even touch Arjuna. That is what is called Karma Yoga. Making Bhagavan, inviting Bhagavan to participate in my life. And this is what is symbolized in the Hindu lifestyle. Whether you take the religious aspect or the non-religious aspect, which really there is not. But you wake up in the morning, the bathing itself is a ritual. You do the same to Bhagavan, you do that reverentially to yourself. You walk, walking itself is a ritual. You work, work itself is a ritual. Work is worship, you do it worshipfully. You do it on time. You do it when it's supposed to be done. Not a day later, not a minute later. You do it in a timely fashion. And then there are other things. It's a duty-based society. It is not, unlike the West, a rights-based society. If it's a rights-based society, you are in trouble all the time. You become a victim. You have to keep calling the state and you have to keep suing people. But if it's a duties-based society, if you do your duties well, they automatically become the rights of others. Each person does their duty. You are the one who is in charge of your duty. You don't have to be told. You do it, not for anything else, just for the sake of gaining this knowledge, of assimilating this knowledge. This is how one gains a say over the ragadveshas. Otherwise, ragadveshas predominate. People don't wake up here. People don't wake up here till sometimes noon. And that, is itself shocking. And if you look at the Hindu lifestyle, you have to get up in the morning. Every grahastha has to do a karma called Agnihotra, a fire ritual. Not only those people whose last name is Agnihotri. Everyone is an Agnihotri. Yeah. You don't have to say, my surname is not Agnihotri, why I have to do? Everybody, once you are married, you have to do. Husband and wife both used to sit together and do. And that same fire was received from the parents, and that same fire, the ultimate offering was one's own body. This is the lifestyle. And there are 2 time slots prescribed for doing Agnihotra. Anudite Juhoti, before sunrise. Can I have the other time slot? Because this is a little, too much. And this fellow is thinking, maybe this will be 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, theek hai. Tab tak naha ke kar lenge, no problem. Udite juhoti. You either do it before sunrise or as the sun is rising. But that is not true in the West. I was speaking at one interfaith conference and I was giving some sunrise example. When one child said to me, can you please give sunset example because I've never seen sunrise. 10-year-old. Never seen sunrise. That is a hair-rising situation. From the Hindu point of view. It's not that the Vedas are sadistic. Isko uthao, isko, fasao, isko, trouble karo. This is not that the Vedas want to trouble the jiva. It's a direction that is given. Because the hope is, once you wake up at sunrise, you don't go to bed after doing the yajna. You continue to be awake because there are other duties, there is puja, and the food is cooked in the name of Bhagavan, offered to Bhagavan, that is the only bhoga. We don't know any other word bhoga. And that bhoga becomes my yoga. And then after that you eat, then you feed everyone, you eat, you have to feed the stranger also, you have to go out, look to the left, look to the right, koi hai, anybody wants to eat, then only you eat. There is no time to even think what I want, what I don't want, I didn't get this in the last life, I didn't get this in the life before. There is no time for regret. And because of this, you learn to accept things as they come. That's how marriage becomes yoga. Marriage is yoga because you learn how to let all the ragadveshas go. This is what it is. And in our tradition, you don't marry the person, you marry the entire village. Correct? That's how it is. So you have to keep adjusting. I'm not just talking about women. Men also have to adjust. They sometimes don't, but they have to adjust. They have to adjust. A woman has to adjust. Often they don't know each other, and even if you know each other, it's difficult to adjust. But this adjustment becomes a process of preparation for this knowledge. So many things. And when you say samatvam, equanimity not with regard to the sameness of what you do. Samatvam is with regard to not even the same action or the same, same way to do it, same manner of doing. Equanimity is with regard to the response you have to the various situations. That is where is the definition of samatvam. Equanimity with regard to the various situations that you encounter. Over those situations you have no control, because every pursuit, everything that you do, you can plan only for the known variables. The hidden variables you have no say over. You have no say over the hidden variables. Because there are certain seen variables. You can say, okay, going from here to there will take me half an hour. Traffic may be there, I'll give another 15-20 minutes. I will leave 45 minutes before, because if it's a half an hour drive, I'll keep some time for traffic. But there may be some hidden variables, correct? You don't know if the road is closed, suddenly something, whole life is a detour. And this hidden variable is nothing but one's own karma from this life or other lives. Each time one has gone against dharma, there is a karma. There is a result of that action which fructifies into uncomfortable situations in the here and now, or even in the hereafter. You know, one always goes to the interview on time, somebody else gets the job. One is almost famous, somebody else takes the credit and puts their name on the paper. This happens, why only to me? Each one asks. Why only to me? It's not just why me. Everyone is asking why me. If 7 billion people are asking why me, then it's not why me, correct? Then we have to arise above the why me and look at that universal order. And what is that universal order? The law of karma. And the antidote to that law of karma is, harnessing the hidden variable which is Bhagavan. Bhagavan is the hidden variable. That is the metaphor why Arjuna made him sit in front of the chariot. Bhagavan is the hidden variable that I have to harness through puja, through prayers. So the prayers become meaningful. It's not something I'm just doing as an end in themselves. They are to ward off the hidden variables so that I can pursue. These obstacles will not come in the way. They are to ward off all the ragadveshas to keep at bay. This is what is the meaning of samatvam, this equanimity I have to have with regard to the fruits of action. So when I see karma as an order which is not separate from Bhagavan, given by Bhagavan, I learn to accept it, if not as a gift, at least as prasada. Prasada means that which you cannot avoid. Yeah. That which you cannot avoid is prasada. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not good. Just like when you go upstairs, some days you get only water, and some days laddu, somebody has offered, vada, Hanumanji is wearing a whole mala of vadas, and few vadas come into your hand, suddenly they just drop into your hands, and your favorite item is these vadas, and all 28 come out. 28? In this country they take out the wisdom teeth, so therefore I didn't say 32. All 28 come out. So, this is, it depends. You can't fight with the Purohit. You cannot say, Panditji, last time you gave me laddu. This time you will give me kaddu. What is this? I want laddu now. Whatever is in your share, it will come. You have to wait. You have to allow it to come. Similarly, in life, you cannot always do what you like. If you try to keep doing what you like, it's a recipe for a feeling of failure, it's a recipe for sorrow. Really, if you want to be sad, keep trying to do what you like. Put your whole life in a particular agenda of doing what you want to do and what you like to do. It will not work. And it takes a few lifetimes to understand why this will not work, because there is many a slip between the cup and the lip, the cup and the hand. Many slips. Many a slip between the cup and the lip. And those slips are Bhagavan, really. Bhagavan in the form of your own karma. And through prayer, I do two things. Through this yoga, karma yoga is a twofold process. One is I become a little more calm with regard to what I did not get, because what I don't get I see as an avatara of God in my life. More difficulties, more Bhagavan, more obstacles, more Bhagavan, I become prayerful. And the second thing I do as karma yoga is I learn to dedicate all my actions to Bhagavan. I don't put myself in the place of the one who is the agent of action. I'm neither agent nor victim. I'm dedicated to Bhagavan. If you are not the agent of action, if you're not the author of action, then there is no guilt. And if you're not the victim, you don't feel like a victim, I'm working so hard, nothing happens, there is no hurt. So, samatvam yoga uchyate, a life that is free of guilt and hurt. I cannot always do as I like. So therefore, I have to learn to like whatever it is that I have to do. This is wisdom. Even on the relative level, this is wisdom. Learning to like what there is to be done. This is the goal of a yogi. Doing as I like is the goal of a bhogi. You can decide what you want to be. Thank you. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. If there are any questions, I can take that. Okay, no questions. Thank you.
Monday I'll come.